Thanks for joining the channel here over at Subscribe so I got a mailbox. Mail me some comics. So, Disney's Bob Iger blames the woke, uppity lady boss director who needed a firm hand. Unfortunately for him, she's a pox-walks furry otherkin who's above him on the oppression hierarchy. So the Spider-Verse director slams Bob Iger's comments on the Marvel's astounding level of BS. The short version is that Disney is making woke films that don't sell. Everything beyond that is soy boy copium. All they can do is insult the people who point out the obvious. The time of woke is over, which is a problem for them because it's not, the time of, I should say, the audience paying for woke movies is over. They've very much crossed a line where the return on the investment is just going to get less and less. But that's a problem for them because their time of making woke movies is not over. So it's going to be interesting to watch. You're at the point with Hollywood where it's more interesting to watch people like Mahler types talk about how bad movies are than to actually watch the movies themselves. So I just want to start off by saying that Disney is effed, but I can't swear on YouTube anymore. And it's weird, I know, to look at Disney and wonder about their future because they have such an august past. What's full of accolades? They have such a, I don't know, rich past. What word am I looking for? And it sounds crazy if you look at all the stuff they've made. It's like that Disney, the 1930s and 40s Fantasia Disney, up to probably at least their financial peak in the 80s and 90s. That's long gone. That was new management. That was different management. It's just a completely different set of people. If you don't believe me, you just have to see the movies for themselves, and you'll quickly understand that this is not the Disney that you remember from the 90s. And the thing is, to say this stuff for some reason bothers the pussy soy boys, of which Twitter is absolutely. Twitter and Reddit for some reason it's got a weird collection of these guys. They're all 300-pound playing video games, and they're always telling people to touch grass, and then you look at them, and sometimes they'll have their picture in their icon picture, and you're like, yeah. You don't even want to come back and insult them because you know that, life is the greatest insult for them. The thing is, what else are you supposed to call these? Anyway, let me get this out of the way. One, diversity is cancer. So if you're one of these pussy SJWs, this video is probably not going to be for you. But let me fine tune that a little bit instead of just saying diversity is cancer, which it almost certainly is. But I really mean that like as done by Disney, because I could make a diverse movie, but people who are in Disney can't. Where woke people can't make movies because they follow the same formula that POCs are going to be Mary Sue's and blonde people are bad because either the woke directors are affirmative action hires who are not hired on merit, like this chick here, I forget her name already, Nina DaCosta is that example. And, that's almost all of them. But I guess to be completely accurate, maybe some of the older ones who've been around for a while, they might be okay because they're there on merit or they've proved their worth. Or that happens is the directors, if they're non-POCs, they're scared to death of the social firestorm if they dare to portray a Pox Walks as anything other than a Mary Sue angel. So they're trapped. Someone like me could make a movie because I wouldn't care about the social media. But, you have to have a company backing you. Like Disney could. If Disney wanted to turn things around, any company could. They absolutely could. They're big enough to do it. They really don't want to do it. The thing is, I wouldn't make the POCs Mary Sue's. They would be all characters, good and bad. It would just be a fair approach to storytelling. But a movie like that is not going to get made in Hollywood, so it's a moot point, which is why I say Hollywood is effed. Because they painted themselves into a corner where they keep repeating things about how great diversity and inclusion and whatever is. But there's this huge disconnect between their philosophy, which is bull S, and the customer, aka the audience, doesn't want diversity and inclusion, at least not in the way that the woke pussies at Disney and Hollywood in general are trying to sell it. But these, pharmaceutically enhanced Epstein Island idiots are so deep in an echo chamber that they can't understand what's going on, and they don't really care. If the whole industry is going in this direction, as long as there's money to still make movies, then it doesn't matter if the movies fail. Until the money runs out. And Larry Fink at BlackRock and some of those other investors are starting to finally have second thoughts about this kind of stuff. But they really don't care about the future of the industry because they'll be retired by them. And for most of them, this really is a religion. They'd rather destroy an industry than not to make these woke movies. So this is the director, Peter Ramsey, who doesn't have much to offer other than four-letter words about anyone who dares offer a counter narrative. And that's all the left wing on Twitter is. It's all just personal insults and deflection instead of actually going to the issue. And CBR does the same thing, as I'll show in this next thing. So Bob Iger has to give some excuses for The Marvels movie that just came out because it was a legitimate bomb, and I actually thought it would do. Better. I thought Brie Larson still had kind of enough of a draw to pull people in there. And then the other movie that bombed was the Wish animation, which I guess was their 100-year anniversary special or something, and that was absolutely horrible. I mean, it's just more of the same. It's like, let me guess, the POC character is going to be the good character, and the person of the light, people like you and I, are going to be the bad character. And you argue with people on this on Twitter, and getting them to understand that is it takes a challenge. Anyway, and the thing is, like, they've got a lot of other movies that have bombed also. I'm trying to think of like what has been a big hit, and it seems like, I think it was, someone said it was like 8 out of the past 10 movies have lost money from Disney. Anyway, so CBR is also giving them, comic book resources, these just most pathetic excuses also. But the funny thing is, they're giving excuses that they call valid reasons why the Marvels failed. That's this article. They go through one of these articles and they list 10, in their minds, valid reasons why the Marvels failed. But that means they're just self-censoring the actual reasons, because the actual reasons are coming from people like you and I, who explained that a bunch of no offense, pox women running around, and too much diversity is not what we want, and it's not what the audience wants. But CBR can't even bring itself to entertain that point of view. Yeah, dude, the whole diversity thing, it's just not for me anymore. I just want hot blonde people, nice tight ass, nice jugs. Take the Marvels, for example. Kamala Khan, Monica Rambeau, Nick Fury. If you could just go ahead and swap them out for European people, yeah, that'd be great. What a great movie that was. Huh? Too bad they never made a sequel to Office Space. They can't even conceive that someone would say something about being sick and tired of diversity. And we say it on social media all the time, but in their minds, they filter it out as coming from wrong thinkers. Except there must be a whole lot of people who are also sick of diversity, because these movies don't sell. It's not just, me and you saying this kind of stuff wrapped up in our tinfoil hats and our Hugo Boss. It's that people aren't going to the theaters. For poops and giggles, go to one of these movies yourself and go see or just, like, don't pay for it, but go to the theater and ask the guy, next time one of these woke movies come out, like, ask him, like, how many tickets did you sell for this movie? Or look at Fandango and you can check it there. And they're like, yeah, there's for the 3 o'clock show, or no, you go primetime, like, ask for primetime showing. What would it be, like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock or something on Friday night? Go, yeah, the theater, say it holds, I don't know, 100 people, and you find out, yeah, they didn't fill the theater up for opening night movie. It's like you're supposed to get more than a dozen people in a theater. Yeah, you can have the seat of your choice. Anyway, so to let you know how insane they are, one of their copium reasons was that one of the complaints was, in their minds, that the Marvels wasn't diverse enough. Yeah, they're living in some bizarro dream world where only people who think like they do exist. Or you tell them that you want to see more European characters. Well, they tell you that the movies just aren't made for you. Yikes, my guy, which is the whole point. The movies aren't made for a lot of people. But the problem is these soy boy pussies and cat ladies aren't seeing the movies either. They say that they want these vagina-powered non-white movies, but then they don't actually go pay to see them. The difference is that the soy boys will lie to you, where I'll just be honest. Give me more thin, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls. Give us nationalist, tribal stories. No more of the Bolshevik found family cancer. But they won't. This ship will not change course. they are committed to making all characters non-white, and the audience disappears. So Bob Iger had to give this copium interview because he has to say something for why the Marvels bombed, and he blamed the Wu flu and that they were stretched too thin, and that the idiots who directed the movie needed more oversight, which is, I think, probably the thing that really upset them because, one, she's a woman, and two, she's a pox woman, a POC, which is getting to an interesting point because why was she hired if she needed someone to hold her hand? Because she was a pox walks and she didn't get the job on merit. And the soy people on Twitter are so proud of her for being involved in this huge movie, except that the movie bombed, but it doesn't matter to them simply because she's a POC. She wasn't hired because she was good. She was hired because she checked the diversity box twice. So, maybe she's a BLT also, so that would be like 3 checklists. So when they're hired as a POC face of Disney, Bob Iger is saying that you really need to have a ghost director to guide her hand. Well, then shouldn't you just have hired the ghost director in the first place? And the thing is, if you don't follow the culture war, you have no idea how bad Hollywood is. They really don't care about the merit of a movie. To them, the only reason to make a movie is to push a narrative in front of and behind the camera in terms of like hiring quotas type of stuff. Now, here's the thing. He goes, sexism in the movie. We want sexy in the movie. The right can't hurt a left-wing movie. Men can't hurt a chick flick. All you can do is not go see the movie. The left can make a movie successful just by seeing it, as they recently did with Barbie, and the right can do the same for their movies. So to try to blame the other side for it, and it only goes one way, they only blame the right wing, and they never blame the left wing for any movies not doing well. Anyway, thing is, they really don't care about the merit of a movie. That's not even in their discussion. They have to have these bizarro kind of like deflection copium reasons. So Bob Iger's comments pissed them off, but they're in a bad position because the movie was crap and bombed. Even the woke POC power left wing didn't see the movie because their dirty little secret is that they hate diversity also. Everyone does. Hollywood is, let me say, they have a belief not in accord with real humans, and they're unsuccessfully pushing themes that people recognize as cancer. People want to see their tribe first and foremost, but secondly, they want beautiful Nordic people who are the standard of beauty because they're so rare. Light eyes, hair, and skin is rare globally. So when you combine that with low body fat and symmetry, you have something that is desirable to the world. Heaven forbid I say what is just true, or at least, one person's opinion, but doesn't it seem odd that you don't hear more opinions like that? Not everyone's a Hugo Boss a-hole. Yeah, but, okay, fair enough. But a lot of people share these opinions. But the left wing can't just admit this. So you get Ms. Marvel and Monica Rambeau, and nobody's tuned into this kind of thing. The thing is, Bob Iger will just say anything because he's committed to this. Yes, they're making woke movies, and that won't change. So, eventually you're going to have to lower the budgets. This was over $200 million. And probably try to sell streaming based on the old Disney shows, of which, in their defense, they have many, and that's where their money is coming in because they have their library is extensive. And like I said, in the 80s, until fairly recently, they had a long string of hits. And even now, again, I don't know when Frozen and Frozen 2 came out. They still have hits. It just seems like recently they're really committed to going in this direction. If the 100-year anniversary was Wish, which, like I said, I saw online, it was I go to Sail the High Seas for a movie, and then I realize, oh yeah, I've got Disney because someone gave me the password to go sign in on their Disney account. It's like, why am I sailing? Anyway. So the thing is, nobody in this guy's Twitter thread actually said any real criticism. It was just this echo chamber of woke copium. One guy said the directors and writers were not experienced enough for the big movie, and which, as people look in the history of them, it turns out to be true. And the original poster, this guy, Peter Ramsey, told the guy who made that really milquetoast innocuous comment to F off. And then other people who were involved just told him to, yikes, my guy, stop talking. Like, you really don't want to hear anything that goes against the narrative. It's just one guy's opinion. He didn't use any four-letter words. He was polite about it. And the response was this guy telling him to F off. People learn to not even bother commenting in Twitter threads because you'll just get blocked. So it just remains an echo chamber. There's no point. It's like every comment, like, and I guarantee the guy who said the director was inexperienced was just blocked by this guy, which is let it remain an echo chamber. That's fantastic, because watching Hollywood start to lose money is more entertaining than watching the movies themselves. And if you want me to watch and review a movie, buy the ticket and the popcorn, and I absolutely will go see it. I look at movies lately, and I look at Fandango, and I don't see anything that. I mean, yes, I could watch these movies and talk about them on the channel because they're so bad, but they're not so bad, they're good, and there's nothing legitimately enjoyable out there, because they all, like, when people go, oh, look at this movie over here, it's not that woke, or it doesn't have any woke thing, it's like, yeah, you're just not, when you kind of go further down the rabbit hole, you start to see the elements that you just didn't see before you went down the rabbit hole, and goes in that confirmation bias. No, because I can watch a movie I could watch a movie I wouldn't be able to do on YouTube to talk about the deeper meanings, but on like Odyssey or something, can point out that what they're actually doing when they do these kind of things, and before you start to notice it, you don't really pick up on it. So movies that people think are kind of fun, just all around movies, you can point it out. The only thing I'll say is, like, foreign movies, Japanese movies, you're going to have a way better chance of getting a good movie with a foreign movie, where all of American Hollywood movies are going to, or the most of them are going to be this kind of stuff. And like I said, if you think there's a legitimately good movie out there, let me know in the comments. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.